Pfizer lifting its full-year guidance by $1.5 billion as it posts strong third-quarter earnings this quarter. The company focusing on its pipeline progress and growth prospects. Here with me now to discuss all of that and more is Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla. Albert, really good to see you again, and really strong quarter. You beat Wall Street estimates, you raised guidance, $1.5 billion for the year for 2024, and this is really the story of a comeback this quarter. Talk to me about that. We did see the stock jump on the earnings release, but then it sort of pulled back a little bit. So talk to me about this quarter and what you see as the story for the quarter.
Look, it was an exceptional quarter. Very few times you have the opportunity to beat across the board. We beat on top line by 20%, almost 18%. And we beat the bottom line by 70%. And we beat on COVID business, and we beat on non-COVID business that had a phenomenal growth of 14%, the non-COVID business. But also, even more importantly, we beat almost on all new products. So, of course, we beat on Paxlovid and Comirnaty, but also we beat on Prevnar 20. Also, we beat on RSV. We beat on Nurtec, which is the product that we acquired from Biohaven. The two new JAK inhibitors that we launched, Cibinqo and Litfulo, we beat both of them. Oncology, the new product that we had launched was Elrexfio. We beat also on that. So when you have a quarter like that, really, you feel that you are in a good way of executing what you said you will do.
Absolutely. I know Paxlovid has been the focus, I think in part because of the surprise element, considering the COVID wave we saw and how much of a boost they saw, considering we've been thinking that the COVID portfolio will just sort of wane out, but you repeated during the call today that you see it as sort of ongoing stable business. The numbers match last year. You're on track to be on par with last year. Talk to me about how you see that, as well as some of the Seagen acquisition drugs and the sort of boost that they've given the bottom line to your portfolio this earnings quarter.
Oh, first of all, it's clear to me that the COVID business has stabilized into the new levels that will be the sustainable levels for the future. We are having already a second year of repetition, and it is identical, the numbers of utilization. It is identical, the numbers of wastewater virus load, which we are measuring to see how the disease is progressing. And one, actually, it is highly correlated with the other, and they are the same in 23 and 24. The same is with Comirnaty. The volumes are very, very similar. So COVID is a stable business. Seagen has done exceptionally well. It's not only operational that we have an integration that was very, very good, but the revenues of Seagen are way higher than what we forecasted and what the market had forecasted in the beginning of the year, not to say that had forecasted when we announced the acquisition, because in the meantime, we had significant readouts. So the four marketed products are doing exceptionally well. However, what excites us more in Seagen is the pipeline, because it's giving us a new platform, that technological platform that the majority of scientific and investor community believe is transformational for cancer, ADCs. That's why a lot of ADCs are sold in extremely high prices right now. With that one, we just announced three new ADCs that are going to phase 3. One is already there, and it is for lung cancer. It's called SV. The other is a PD-L1 ADC that we are about to start a phase 3 study. Those two, if they are successful, they are not going to be big products. They are going to be mega blockbusters, because they are in lung and they are let's say, they are projected to have very high efficacy if they are successful. We are also launching a CD4, which is for breast cancer. That is not coming from Seagen, it's coming from the Pfizer pipeline. But I just wanted also to mention it. From Seagen, another one, phase 3 that we are starting, it is an ADC for urothelial cancer. So I'm talking only about the phase 3, because we have in earlier phases so many new products in their pipeline that we will have a new phase 3 coming forward. So for us, Seagen is a transformational deal for Pfizer that will propel us to become leaders in oncology.
So Albert, I'm so glad that you were talking about mega blockbusters. I know that that is something that the street has been looking for, investors have been looking for, including your big shareholder there, Starboard Value. You had a meeting last week that you characterized as both cordial as well as constructive. Can you give us a little bit more insight about what was discussed, considering you've laid out your 5-point plan and you've executed? And many analysts did say that there wasn't really more on the board and not many more moves for Pfizer to make. So can you give us some insight, please?
Yes, the meeting was indeed cordial and constructive. I think I hit it off very well with also Jeff. They presented basically the same deck that they presented publicly, and we were in listening mode mostly because we are in a blackout period because of the earnings. Look, I told him what I said today in the call, that I think that I agree with him on some points that they're making. He says that the total shareholder returns are poor, and I'm not happy with them. And I think that I'm doing things to change them, but I'm not happy with them. But also, on the other hand, I disagreed with a lot of things that he mentioned. And just to use one example, he said that the money of COVID were invested not in a good way. And I think that the acquisitions that we did, Seagen, is transformational for Pfizer. BioNTech deal, transformational for Pfizer. The Biohaven and the Seagen and BioNTech, they are more than 80% of the total capital that we invested. And all three are performing at or better than what we were forecasted. So that's the disagreement. But bottom line, as you said, I asked him if he has any ideas, and he didn't offer any yet. He only said that there is a need for something to change. If he was telling me that a year ago, I would agree overwhelmingly, because I did exactly that. I changed everything 12 months ago. Let me repeat what we did as changes. We changed our commercial model with new leaders and US international separated. We have delivered 3 consecutive quarters of growth. We have integrated Seagen by creating an end-to-end oncology research organization that has performed extremely well. We announced a $4 billion cut in SI&A and OpEx, and we supplemented that with an additional $1.5 billion that they are executed to the cent without affecting the top line. We brought in an analyst from a very reputable analyst of the street so that they can help us prioritize our pipeline. I'm talking about Andrew Baum. We recruited 2 new board members. One, the ex-CEO of Vanguard, the other ex-CEO of State Street. Both they are bringing tremendous expertise in our board in shareholder value creation and corporate governance. And we are about to change our chief scientific officer. So, but yeah, I agree that there is a need for change. The difference is that we started that 12 months ago, and actually we are performing very well. So what we need now is not to change what we're changed, it is to stay the course.
Going back to that comment on mega blockbusters, I wonder, is that the strategy, or are you looking for something that's more a bigger basket of smaller wins per se? Because we know that the focus has been, and the story for you, and the reason why you've made these changes is because Pfizer needs to turn around and replace some of those blockbusters that are going off patent in the back half of the decade.
There is always a trade-off in your strategy, because the mega blockbusters are usually very difficult to achieve, though the probability of success is higher. The other products that are easier to make usually are smaller in size. I think if we need to change the balance of what we have right now, that should remain in balance, is we need to go way more to the blockbusters right now. I think we should focus our research efforts to products that really are addressing meaningfully unmet medical needs, which will result in significant revenues, and that will result in significant shareholder value creation. And this is what we are doing right now. If you see the oncology pipeline is focused on big products, if you see the vaccines pipeline is focused in very big products, we have new generation Paxlovid, the I&I pipeline is focused on tri-specific, that can be a very big product. So we are thinking very big products right now.
Certainly. Well, we're going to be keeping an eye on it. I know you and I have talked about the undervaluation in the past. Looks like everyone is on the same page. The story is clear. So we'll have you back next time to update us. Thank you so much, Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla.